you as always, I'm Skip Livingston, and you're watching Channel 12 News. I come to you tonight with a special report of a 7.0 magnitude earthquake that struck Anchorage, Alaska yesterday morning, November 30th, 2018, at 8:30 a.m. Alaskan Governor Bill Walker has issued a declaration of disaster for the state, and Anchorage police report major infrastructure damage as well as damage to many homes and businesses, costing upwards of $30 million. Thankfully, there were no casualties. We're going to cut to our local geology expert, Buff Limestone, for more on the story. Buff, take it away. Thank you, Skip.
See, the Earth's crust isn't a solid piece. It's more like a cracked eggshell with several large pieces. We call these pieces tectonic plates, and they are all constantly in motion, sliding past each other, colliding and diverging. Near Anchorage, the Pacific plate is sliding underneath the North American plate in a process called subduction. South Alaska is located near the Aleutian Trench, the area where the subduction occurs at a rate of 57 millimeters per year. Occasionally, these fault lines slip, causing earthquakes. In the case of Anchorage, the fault rupture occurred on an intra-slab fault within the subducting Pacific slab, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The epicenter was approximately 16 kilometers north of Anchorage, with the focus being located 46.7 kilometers below the epicenter and the Earth's surface. As Skip said earlier, this quake was a 7.0 magnitude, measuring an 8 on the modified Mercalli intensity scale, classifying the shaking as severe, as well as the surface damage. The shaking also caused landslides on Alaska's many bluffs and liquefaction of sediments in the area. Thankfully, this mainly occurred far from the general population, resulting in no casualties. Back to you, Skip.
Thank you, Buff. We'd like to remind you, the audience, that earthquakes are not just limited to the Alaska area. These can happen anywhere along the fault lines, and even in places away from plate boundaries. We'd like to end tonight's episode with a very special message from a very special person. So please, thank you and enjoy. Good night.
Hi. Didn't see you then. I'm Yogi Stokes. So, here's the scenario. You live on a fault line. You're prone to being part of hundreds of geological catastrophes, and I'm here to show you a couple of tips and tricks on how to survive these things. Try to keep up! Now, one of the very first things you want to do in preparation of an earthquake is to secure your furniture. You don't want unhinged doors such as this, because that is a safety hazard. You don't want exposed wiring, because if the wiring is exposed, it could cause the wiring to snap, and then that would cause your beautiful wooden house to burn down. And more importantly, you do not want what we call in the business an Oreo of death. A table on top of a couch on top of another table, because that could cause the furniture on top, or even the one on the bottom, to fall on top of you, which is a very large safety hazard. Much like the Oreo of death, you don't want the thin stuff Oreo of death, which is just a table on top of a cabinet. And lastly, this is a large safety hazard, you don't want... No, they actually fixed that. I guess that's good. If you find yourself in an earthquake, make sure you secure yourself under a table and hold on so it protects you from falling debris. Blimey. And if you happen to live in an older home, you'll want to secure yourself in a doorway, because that's one of the most stable parts of older built homes. So, you survived the earthquake. Good on you. But you are not out of the geological woods yet. You still got a couple steps you need to go through to ensure the safety of both yourself and your family. First things first, make a plan. In case your family and you happen to be at separate locations, make a plan to meet up in case the power lines go out. Next, you want to make sure that you have a crowbar on hand, so that in case you and your family get trapped inside a building, you have a way to get out. And most importantly, in case you are trapped and have no way of getting out, you want to make sure that you have plenty of water. This has been Safety Tips with Yogi Stokes. Thanks for watching.